In this chapter, we're going to introduce some of the basic ideas of probability. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to calculate the median and the mode.
Okay, hi everybody. So in this lesson we're going to take a look at the other two, what we call measures of central tendency. In a previous lesson we looked at the mean, and we did some calculations around finding the mean of a set of data. And now what we're going to do is look at the median and the mode, okay? And these are also what you might call averages, but they run a little different here. So when we talk about the median, we are talking about the central data value. So, but it's out of the set. Okay, so when you've got them all organized in a row, what you do is you count out the number of data items you've got, and then you pick the middle one. I don't even care what the values are. I don't care that we're balanced on one side of the middle and on the other side of the middle. That's what the mean is about. All I care about in this case is what is, if I lay them all out, which one is the middle one, okay? Now, if there's an odd number of data values, that's easy to do. But if there's an even number, then what we do here is says if there's an even number, then when the data is arranged in increasing or decreasing order, it doesn't really matter, then the median is the mean of the middle two data values. So what you're going to do here is you're going to add those two middle values up and divide by 2. Now, what that means is that the median doesn't necessarily have to be one of the data values that you're looking at. That's just like the mean, okay? When you find the mean of a set of data, okay, the number that you get doesn't have to be one of the data values. I mean, it's like we know that the average Canadian family, at least for a while there, I don't know what it is right now, but for a while there was 1.8 children, right? Well, there is no family with 0.8 kids in it, right? So that number isn't one of the data values that gets used, okay? But we still use it. Same thing with the median. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of the data values. Now, in some cases that's a strength, in some cases that's a weakness. It kind of depends on what you're trying to get out of this. Now, the mode, on the other hand, is simply the data value that shows up the most often. And sometimes that's actually more important than these other two, okay? Like, for example, if you're in retail and you're selling, I don't know, let's say shoes, okay, the shoe size that sells the most often is the one that you want to stock up on the most. You don't want to stock up on the median shoe size or even the mean shoe size, because those numbers might not even make sense, quite honestly. Okay, so it's the mode in that context that would make the most sense. Anyway, let's take a look at some examples where we're finding these measures of central tendency. Okay, everybody, let's have a quick look here. It says Pamela is looking to buy a new couch for her living room. The following is a list of the prices she had seen. So we see this list of prices here. And the first question she has here is, what is the median price? Well, in order to figure that out, what we have to do here is put these in order. Now, that's one of the nice things about the stem and leaf plot that we looked at before, is that it actually helps you do that in a relatively quick way here. But you know what? We've got so few of these. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7 of them. It should be not too bad to just kind of scan through there. So I see 855, I believe, is my lowest. But then I see another 855. The next price that comes after that is the 945. Then what's after that? Looks like 1009. Got rid of that. And then what do we got here? Looks like the 1372, the 1488, and then the 1782. Okay, so here's my data values written in order. Now with the mean, you would add those all up and divide by the total to get the middle. And that middle is such that the amount, this is all amount of money here, that the amount of money on the left of the mean is the same as the amount of money on the right of the mean. That's what that does. With the median, I'm not concerned about that. What I'm doing is I'm just counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 data values here. The fourth one has got to be the middle one. So there it is right there. That's my median. So the median price here is going to be $1,009. That's what they're asking for. Now when it comes to the mode is the one that shows up the most frequently. Okay? Now, in this case right here, that's pretty straightforward. I've only got one data value that's even repeated. So the mode is going to automatically be $855. Now, you should know, though, just as a little aside here, that you can have, you can have bimodal or even trimodal data. In other words, what I mean here is if there was another price here, let's say just for example that this 1782 actually got repeated twice. Well, of all the data values, 855 shows up more frequently, and so does this 1782. It shows up the most frequently, but they're the same. They show up both the same number of times. They are both the most frequent ones that show up, so that would be bimodal data. And if there was another one in there that showed up twice, we would have trimodal data. Now, beyond that point there, we don't typically, if you've got 4 data values that are showing up, quote unquote, the most often, by the time it gets up to 4 of them, we start to look at that and say, okay, maybe mode isn't the best way to interpret this data. We're starting to get too many data values that are showing up more frequently. So maybe that's not a good indicator of anything. Okay. So just some things to consider here. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, so this question says, children in a preschool were competing to see who could make the largest block tower. Here is a list of the tower heights they made in inches. Okay, so we've got a whole list of them here. We want to know what the median height is. Okay, well, to get the median height, I think what we have to do here is we have to order this data here. So this is going to be one of those times here where I am going to use the stem and leaf plot. I've got a number of data values here. It's going to be a little bit more awkward for me to try to put them in order like I did with the previous question. The previous question there was only 7. Here there's substantially more than that. So when I take a quick look at my stems here, I've got 2 and 3. Okay, and a 1 here. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Those are my only numbers here. So now that's 25, 31, 27, 25, 23, 24, 22, wow, a lot of that, 22, 25, 23, 20, 19, there we go, 21, and 20, okay. Well, perhaps that wasn't as useful as I was hoping here, because I still got to organize all that. So here we go, well, so be it. Here's my stem and here's my leaf again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now with the 1 and the 3 stem, that's easy. It's going to be 9, that's going to be 1. Now I just got to organize these values here. So I see 2 zeros. Okay, got rid of those guys here. There's just the 1. There are 2 2s. Okay, there's 2 3s. 1 4. 3 5s. Okay, am I going off? No. And looks like a 7. Now, let's just count this out here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so there's 14 data values. There are 14 data values up there, but now they're in order here. Now, to figure out the median, okay, if there is an even number of data values, then it's going to be the mean of the middle 2. So the middle 2 here, there's 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So if I come forward here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, here's the 7th one, here's the 8th one. Those are the 2 middle terms here. So now in this particular case here, the median is going to be really easy to calculate because the 7th term is 23. Well, the 8th term is 23. Now they're not always going to be exactly the same. It just so happens in this case they are. And that turns out to be, if you add those together, you get 46 divided by 2. That means the mean is going to be 23. The important part here is that what you do is you get them in order, and if it's an even number of data values, you simply add together the middle 2 and then divide by 2. There's your median. Now, the mode is the one that shows up the most frequently. Now, when it's written in terms of a stem and leaf plot, it's actually really easy to determine because all I got to do is look and see in which row I've got a leaf that shows up quite frequently. Now notice I've got 2 zeros, 2 2s, 2 3s. That indicates that this might be even trimodal data, but the 5 actually shows up more frequently than all of them. It shows up 3 times. So that means the number, not 5, but 25 has got to be my mode it shows up 3 times. Okay, so those are the things you have to consider, and that's how you want to approach it when you're looking for median and mode. So median, lay them all out in order, and then we're simply going to take the middle term. If there's an odd number of data values, it's very easy. Just grab the middle one. If it's an even number of data values, you take the 2 middle ones and then add them together, divide by 2. With the mode, it's the one that shows up the most frequently. You can have bimodal and trimodal data, okay, but typically we don't care beyond that. If you've got 4 items that are showing up the most frequently, and the same number of times, right? Because here, this looks like this might have been, if that 5 wasn't there, then I would have said that there's no mode here, okay? The 20 shows up twice, the 22 shows up twice, the 23 shows up twice. If that 5 wasn't there, then the 25 shows up twice, okay? I would have said that there's no mode here, okay? If the 5s weren't there at all, if this was my data, I would have said that this is trimodal data. 20 shows up twice, 22 shows up twice, 23 shows up twice. That's the most, twice is the most frequent that something shows up. This is trimodal data. That's what I'm trying to get at. I hope that makes sense.